Let's take a look at screening and placement in Read 180. Every student begins by taking the growth measure. What you're seeing on the screen is a sped-up version of an 8th grade student taking the assessment. The growth measure is a research-based assessment of students' reading comprehension. Results from the growth measure can be used to screen and place students into Read 180, to track their reading growth across time, and to exit students. The growth measure is a computer adaptive assessment of up to 35 questions. The growth measure includes brief passages from literature and nonfiction. Students read the passages and answer multiple choice questions in sets of 5. Because it is an adaptive assessment, the difficulty of each set of questions changes in response to students' performance. If a student correctly answers a group of questions on the assessment, the difficulty of the next group of questions increases. If a student answers incorrectly, the difficulty of the next set of questions decreases. Most students complete the assessment within 45 minutes, though if they experience testing fatigue, they can exit the test and resume the following day. The growth measure assesses a broad range of reading standards and measures all students against the same benchmark. To use the growth measure to monitor student reading growth, administer it 3 times a year, approximately every 4 months. Default testing windows are established in ED and can be adjusted by leaders. As you can see, at the end of the assessment, students see their grade level equivalency, as well as their Lexile band. These are data points that ED platform will use to take into consideration when placing students at the right starting point in Read 180. We'll talk more about this data in our reports video in the series, but you can find the results under the Reports tab. With the growth measure completed, we'll start by looking at the grade level equivalency. It helps us to target where the students stopped mastering grade level skills. The Tier 2 intervention of Read 180 will focus on reading comprehension. Students' Lexile score from the growth measure help to determine what level the students will be placed at within the student application. Based on their Lexile midpoint and the grade level band or course they're working in, ED provides appropriate and relevant content for independent practice. Students who are in Tier 3 or more than 2 years below grade level will take a secondary assessment called the Code Placement Assessment. Here, they will be placed within an appropriate foundational skills practice in the software.
It's time to take a test called Fast Track. Your answers help us know how to help you. There are several parts to this test. In this part, you will hear a sound. Find the sound in the list. Click the sound you hear as fast as you can. Ready? Click Start to begin.
D.
The assignment of this test happens automatically. You'll see students start with sound symbol correspondence, high-frequency words, nonsense words, and decodable words that will increase in complexity as the system tries its best to figure out the best starting place for each individual student. This placement helps ensure we're helping students fill in the gaps and move toward automaticity, which we know will increase their reading comprehension. Similar assessments along the way will help identify needs and ensure that students are not spending time on skills they've already mastered. Placement will impact what students are experiencing as they move through each rotation, so we can easily target and provide instruction and practice that will support student needs. For your next steps, we're going to log on to ED, check to make sure that your students have been rostered, and then we will assign the growth measure. As you can see, I am logged on to the ED platform. When I log in, I land on my Dashboard tab. To check my rosters, I'm going to head to the My Classes tab. If my rosters have already been created and uploaded onto the ED platform, I should see those classes listed here. I may also see an icon that prompts me to manage my programs. When you manage programs, it's simply asking you to tell ED what content it is that your students need access to. So I want to make sure that I have checked off the correct stage for my grade band. And if I'm using Flex, I might see that as an option as well. When I head into that My Classes tab and select a class, I should be able to see that I have my students rostered and enrolled. To assign the growth measure, I'll head over to the Discover tab. From Discover, I want to make sure that I'm looking at the program that I want my students to be accessing. I can come down to Connected Solutions, and here is where I will see the growth measure. When I click the Assign button, you'll see that you can give this another name. You can add in directions, create a start and due date, as well as assign to multiple classes. When students log on to Ed, they may see that growth measure assignment in their assignments dashboard here on their homepage or on the Assignments tab.